Hello, welcome to Vibrant Authentic Living. This is Nandi and this is Lemon Water in the Mornings with Nandi. It's a beautiful Sunday morning here in Jamaica. Off to a late start this morning. The sun is actually up already, and usually we beat the sun at its game, right? Usually we're broadcasting this particular program in the wee hours of the morning before the sun knows what's happening. So this morning, I want to talk to you about reading. Reading. It's something we take for granted. It's something some of us don't quite seem to understand the power that reading gives us. As usual, we're going to play our lemon water feature and then we're going to come right back. Marcus Garvey said, reading maketh the full man. Reading maketh the full man. And Garvey was someone who always encouraged us to take a book along with you if you're going on a long journey or even a short journey. And there's going to be occasion for you to even wait for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, take out a book and read. Now, the title is asking a question. Have you ever read an entire book from cover to cover? I know for some people, it may seem like a joke. It may seem like a ridiculous question. What kind of question is that? Of course, I've read many books. That's what you're saying. Of course, I've read many, many books from cover to cover. But believe it or not, there are persons, and I would say, believe it or not, the majority of adults have to think really hard when they are asked that question. Have I ever really read an entire book from cover to cover? Even the textbook that you had to use, that was mandatory for you to use at school, did you read it from cover to cover? Can you raise your hand and say, I have read an entire book from cover to cover, no matter the size, no matter the topic? A lot of people can't say that. And this is one of the reasons why so many adults are walking around with the inability to think, the inability to process information. Even their imagination is limited. You see, when you have a child from the early days of conception, just from conception straight on, and you read to that child, and then that child is born, and you read to that child, and you have your lap time, you put the child in your lap, you read to the child, and that child grows with that habit of reading. That child is more likely to become an intellectual, to have imagination that they delve into using their creativity, because books open up the world to them. Books allow us to have access to other people's thoughts. Books allow us to have ideas from all over the world, from all throughout history. We have access to the thoughts of persons who walked this earth thousands of years ago. You are able to know what someone who walked this earth thousands of years ago was thinking, because you are able to take up a book, take up a manuscript, the original manuscript that that person wrote, somehow passed down to us through the millennia, through the centuries, through the decades. These persons have long gone. Their physical bodies have long left this earth, but their mind remains. The thoughts that they had, their ponderings, their revelations, we have access to those in books. And we live at a time, I would say, we are among the luckiest humans to have lived, because we now have access. It's a repository of human thoughts, human discoveries, human ideas. We have access to all that has gone before. And so we can put it together and benefit from it, so humanity can benefit from it. But if you don't access it, what's the good of it? There's a saying that the man who does not read is not much better off than the man who cannot read. I don't remember who said those words, but they are powerful words. The man who does not read is just as bad as the man who cannot read. Because if you have the ability and you're not using it, what sense is there? What benefit is it to you? You're going through the day and you find time to do so many other things. You find time to do things that will not benefit you, things that will not advance your intellect, things that will not add to your understanding of the world around you. You find time to do all of those things, and yet you don't make time for something as simple as taking up a book, taking up a newspaper, taking up a magazine, or if you're more technologically oriented, you are online doing other things. Go on a website, search something, search anything, any random thing, find out some more information, right? There can be a case where there's an overload because you have to allow your own thoughts the space. You have to allow yourself some space to just think. You can't bombard yourself with constant information coming in from the outside, from exterior sources. So there's that to take into consideration. You have to be careful. You have to be discerning. You have to screen what you read. And Garvey also said this. It doesn't make sense you're going to pile up your library with trashy, what he called trashy literature, right? So you have to consciously make an effort to choose things that are going to benefit you, things that are going to edify you, educate you. Be selective in what you read, but make time for some reading every day. You'd be surprised, the time that we take for granted, the time that you're waiting for someone to come, the time that even in the line at the supermarket you could read when you really think about it. Any queue that you're in waiting, you could read. You're standing there waiting, you could read while you're waiting. You're sitting at the doctor's office waiting for your turn, and sometimes nowadays the doctor's office, you'll be there for hours, sometimes waiting. You're at the bank, that's another place, you'll be there for hours. You're at the tax office, you're there for hours. Don't let those hours be in vain. Give your mind something to work on, something to educate it. And like I said, be selective about it, right? So let us take Marcus Garvey's advice. Always have something constructive to read. Reading maketh the full man, the full woman, the full child, right? Very important. Give your mind something to work on. And you too can add to that repository, that human, that collection of human thoughts. Write your thoughts down. Maybe eventually you can publish them. Add to that storehouse of knowledge. You too can participate and give your contribution. All right, until next time, that's our thought for today. And I'm hoping that you've been drinking your lemon water in the mornings. First thing in the mornings, remember, get your spring water or whatever source of water you use. Squeeze in a lemon or two or some limes. I've been sharing with you the benefits of the lemon water in the morning. So I'm hoping that you're seeing the benefits as well. And I'd like for you to share that experience with me, right? So until next time, this is Nandi.